Recently, Kurt Warner came to campus and spoke at our annual benefit dinner. And one of the things that Kurt said during his speech to the crowd that was there that night was he talked about his rise going from the supermarket aisle 7 to the Hall of Fame. And I really thought that was a cool way to describe Kurt's journey. We all love an underdog story, right? You know, you see all the different underdog stories, and we can really rally behind an underdog. You think in the Bible about a lot of the underdog stories that we see. You think about Moses starting his life out floating down the river in a little basket, and then to where he got to later in his life. Joseph started his life out being sold into slavery and rising to second in command in Egypt. You see other stories of underdogs. David, he started out as a shepherd and ended up slaying Goliath and rising to king. Even Peter, fisherman, and then we see him later on in his story proudly and boldly proclaiming God's message to all of those Jews on the day of Pentecost. We love an underdog story, and aren't you glad that God works through ordinary people to achieve His plan? Because I don't know about you, but I do know about you. You're ordinary just like I am, right? We're all ordinary people, so God working through ordinary people like me allows me to be extraordinary. And if we look at God's Word, we can see that God works through people to achieve His plan. Paul told the Galatians in chapter 2, verse 20, that I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ that lives in me, right? We sing the song. And so it's not me who does all these things, it's Christ who works through me to achieve these things. And if I'll just get out of His way and let Him work through my life, extraordinary things can happen. I love the passage in 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 10 and 11. Peter says, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. If anyone speaks, let him speak as the oracles of God. If anyone ministers, let him do it with the ability which God supplies, that in all things God may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom belong the glory and the dominion forever and ever. If I'm a good speaker, it's because God's given me the ability to do that. If I'm a good athlete, it's because God's given me the ability to do that. If I'm a good student, it's because God has given me the ability to do that. So let us use the abilities and the things that God gives us and let Him work through us to achieve great things. When we allow God to work through us and when we submit to His plan and submit to His will through obedience, we can allow God to take us from the proverbial aisle 7 to the spiritual faith Hall of Fame. Go out today and let God live through you.